let's just jump into it. Kicking off the day with some red-black aggro. This is a variation of a deck that we had played once before. The basic idea is that we've got the good Disruption and Thoughtseizes and some Fatal Push on the board, as well as some Lightning Axe here. And then we've got these Madness cards and Fiery Temper and Asylum Visitor to leverage things like Rotting Regisaur, Key to the City, and that Lightning Axe to kind of turn their downside of having to discard a card into an upside. The big gain that this deck potentially got from the latest set, Eldraine from Theros, sorry, is Kroxa, Death's Hunger. I got 3 copies of that in here. We got a couple of swords to put on our stumpy little arm dinosaur. And let's go ahead and pop on into some match with this and see how it goes. Have a Super Tuesday stream. Thanks for 14 months, Punish the Dumpster. It is Super Tuesday if you're in one of those many voting states. I'd encourage you to get out and vote. Feel the burn. Even if you're not feeling the burn, get out and vote. The people should pick their nominee, not a brokered convention. Gengar, thank you for the 20 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Windowhead, let's get you a sword to go with that shield. My partner and I were so busy, we forgot our 1-year anniversary, but I've been counting down the days till this one. Although, to be fair, I knew she wasn't getting me something as badass as the sword. Thank you for the generous tier 2. And yeah, let's get you a sword. Be sure to take a peek at the queue and let me know what you'd like to bump up in there. Oh yeah, that's good. I need to plug that a few times today. Over the weekend, I sent out a sub-survey because I wanted to gauge what people's interests were in the current state of Pioneer as well as historic moving forward. So if you're interested in shaping how content looks here on Hoaglandia, I'd encourage you to fill out the sub-survey. There isn't a link to that in chat, and I'd encourage other subs, please don't post a link to that in chat. The link was emailed out directly, and you can also find it in the announcements channel in the subscriber Discord server. DMS, thank you for the 26 months. Welcome back. People often ask me why I ask folks to put their sub name in there. I know that makes it impossible to give anonymous feedback, but the reason is I've had that link get shared publicly before, and having people put their Twitch usernames in allows me to quickly cross-reference people who responded with my list of subscribers and then filter out any trolls or spam in there. Because the purpose of that survey is not general feedback on my channel. The purpose of that survey is feedback specifically from the people who keep me employed. If you didn't get the email for it, you'll want to make sure you have emails enabled on the Twitch side to get notifications. That's how I send that out. You can also pop into the Discord server if you don't want to get emails from Twitch or you're not getting emails from Twitch. It's in the announcements channel from Sunday, I believe. And yeah, it's not a WotC survey. If you take the time to fill it out, it's going to take you like less than 5 minutes. If you read quickly, it'll probably take you about 5 minutes if you don't read quickly. Thanks, Dispersed. I appreciate the 14 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I talked about putting a question regarding political commentary on the next sub-survey, and I wrote the question out 3 or 4 different ways, and then I realized as I was putting in the options of responses for people could have to it, I realized that regardless of what the feedback was, I didn't really intend to change how I handle myself here. So I decided not to put a question on there because it felt disingenuous to ask for feedback on something that I really wasn't going to change. Hey, Dorian. Thank you for the entire year of support. I always get to watch the stream in person, but I catch the YouTube VODs every day. Thanks for keeping me around. You'll have a sword when you're here. I need to figure out my schedule. Life's been hectic. Probably this weekend or next weekend. It's like a 3 or 4 hour commitment to get it done. I agree that the volume at which we've gotten into it recently is a little high, but that'll just naturally pass as we have Super Tuesday today and we have March 17th, and then I assume that things will naturally just die down. There's been a lot in a short time, and then it'll probably, how much we hit on it, ramp back up near the general. when that gets closer. Declan's doing really well. He had a fever, and he ended up throwing up Sunday morning, so we kept him home yesterday. Don't send your kids to school sick yet. And then, like, by last night, he was, like, bouncing around and back to his, like, peak 4-year-old self, so. Hey, thanks for the half a year, Lark. Is it just me, or should the names Historic and Pioneer be swapped? Historic sounds a bit more like including all of history, whereas, no, I actually disagree with you. I actually think Historic is a great name for Magic Arena's non-rotating format, and that's because I don't think you understand why it's called Historic. Like, they're adding cards from Magic's history to Historic every quarter. Like, it will be a format full of cards from Magic's history. I think it is an incredibly, incredibly good name. And thanks for the half a year, Lark. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Oh, you know what? I should have played this, right? To get extra cards in my bin in case I draw a Kroxa later. I'm going to attack with just this unblockable Rotting Regisaur because, what's the word that I'm searching for? I don't want to attack with this and have them flash in a 2-drop and then eat this, because this gives all their spirits flash, so they have like a selfless spirit. They could eat Night here. No, you're not too late at all, Andy. I'm waiting on a couple of responses from people, and I'm going to start sending stuff out probably tomorrow afternoon for the giveaway. Good chance they're dead here, huh? So we're going to get to discard Fiery Temper to the Rotting Regisaur and dome them for 1. Or dome them for 3, and then this makes us unblockable. So if they can't interact with Rotting Regisaur, they are dead here. Of course, Van. Happy Tuesday. To go ahead and pay 2 for the key to the city to draw a card here. Let's make this unblockable. Try and kill you. Key to the city was really impressive last time we played this deck. It's quite possible that I should have left 3 of them in. It's just I had to cut something for Kroxa, and I ended up going to Embercleave 2 city. Could very, very easily be correct to just be on more city, though. More key. So, I think Bonecrusher is pretty bad here. It kills some of their stuff, but 2 mana is kind of clunky, and a lot of their things sacrifice. If they sacrifice the thing we're targeting, we actually don't get to go on an adventure, so that seems kind of medium for us. The curve of this deck is actually pretty good against Spirits game 1, which is nice. I think I'm going to trim 1 Thoughtseize, because while Thoughtseize is fine for breaking up their curve, drawing multiple of them in a game is probably a pretty big liability. I'm going to trim Asylum Visitor here as well, I think. Boarding in the Fatal Push, the Grasp, and the extra Axe just want as many kill target things as possible, I think, in this matchup. Yeah, Rattle Chains also gives it a bad time. Yeah, this looks good. Do new subs like me have shovels because we're serfs? That's exactly right. Your sub icons tell the story of you rising through the ranks of the nation of Hoaglandia. Yeah, it sounds great right now. In fact, I don't think I updated the site. I intend to just make... I'm going to go update it now. Magic Online decks in general are just going to be 50. I think it still says other formats are 100. But Modern, Legacy, Pioneer, they're all just going to be 50 moving forward. In fact, I think I'm just going to write this so it's just arena formats and MTGO formats. That sounds good. Good chance we just die here. Oh, you know what? I'm dumb. I should have played a tapped land here, I think. Because I think it's better to Fatal Push here. And now I can't play Reggie next turn. Yeah, I think I should have played a tapped land. Is what should have happened there. Hey, Beetle, do you think Historic will be a format where Knight of the Reliquary is actually playable? I mean, to be fair, it can't be less playable than it is in the other formats, right? There were some zombies still on the ballot. Yeah, I expect that'll be the case in a lot. Also, the point where they dropped, like, there's going to be a bunch of early votes that were still cast for Amy and Pete. Blue Not Bloom 2020. That's about where I'm at. You know, I posted this on Twitter last night. I genuinely hope I'm wrong about Warren. I genuinely hope that she's staying in because she thinks she could have a huge surge. And honestly, I hope if she does have a huge surge and she, like, somehow beats all the odds and all the polls and, like, overtakes Bernie, I hope Bernie drops and backs her. But I also hope that, like, if she doesn't beat all of the odds and doesn't blow away all of the polls, I hope she drops and backs Bernie. The progressives need to consolidate around whoever is leading after today. West Porter, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I think we're just dead here at this point, right? We're just, like, super far behind, and this card's just impossible to race. Let's take game 3 on the play. The true aggro mantra, let's take game 3 on the play. I think I'm going to trim Kroxa here, actually. This grindy element doesn't seem particularly good in this matchup. Her campaign released a notice saying they want a split DNC so she can dream about... do you have a source on that? Like a source directly from her campaign, preferably? Yeah, I know. I know. Mathematically, it is unrealistic for her to expect to do well. She is not projected in any of the polls to win any of the primary states, I don't believe. Not even her home state. I'm just incredibly sad because the moderate branch of the Democratic Party had a young, well-spoken gay man and a woman that were both reasonable candidates, and they decided to rally around a decrepit, babbling, often incoherent candidate. Like, I definitely want Bernie to get the nom, but like the fact that like the non-progressives decided to back Biden over Klobuchar or Pete is just like he is not. I mean, it probably won't matter if Biden gets the nom, because like if Biden gets the nom, we're gonna have Trump maybe for forever. We might have 3 or 4 terms of Trump if Biden gets the nomination. Yes, I believe him, Bacon. I agree with that. Biden is a lukewarm centrist that won't excite anyone. Kane's Indignation, thank you for the very generous tier 2. Thanks for the 10 months. Welcome back. I had really hoped that like if we were gonna end up stuck with a centrist, we would at least get Pete or Amy. Like, them railing around Biden just really sucks. I like how this statement from Warren's team talks about their record-breaking dollar amount. Or they were happy with their dollar amount. It's just like much less than Bernie. All right, what are we doing over here? So they have all their colors. God, their hand is really good. Thanks for the half a year, Weck. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, I like, in my opinion, I greatly prefer the parliament system compared to what we do in the United States. Am I supposed to take the company? Like, here's the thing. Can I beat Supreme Phantom into Herald? I almost feel like I'm supposed to take the Supreme Phantom here and, like, hope they brick on a land for a turn or, like, don't have a 2-mana play. They, like, technically get to bounce something with Brazen Borrower. Can just do this and pass. You want to Kroxa them? I don't know that Kroxing them there's necessarily great. Unfortunate that this is tapped. And I mean I can't Lightning Axe. I can't Lightning Axe their Supreme Phantom instead of the Wanderer. You know what this card does? I'm gonna pull it up here because you probably don't, based on that comment. Gurmag Angler is super awkward. Gosh, even Kroxa is super awkward in the face of Brazen Borrower, huh? No, I didn't have an untapped land, Singer. Thank you for the 18 months, Bellbot. Welcome back. Yeah, Brazen Borrower is one of the best cards printed in a long time. In terms of it, like, it hits a sweet spot, right? Like, obviously, best cards printed is probably strong. It's one of the best cards that, like, I don't feel is anywhere close to overbearing. It's just, like, super playable in a lot of spots. So they must have hit their untapped land here, right? Sound of Science, thanks to the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. Yeah, definitely fights with True Name and Legacy. It's the rate of play on Moto is truly glacial. And part of the rate of play issues with this client aren't even Magic Online's, well, let me rephrase. Part of the issues with this client aren't even directly related to the way the client works itself. Part of the issue with Magic Online is the client gives you so much time per match that it encourages you to kind of be doing other things while you play because there's no punishment for not doing so. And when your opponent's playing slowly, you're like, okay, they're obviously doing something else, so I'm going to do something else while I play. So then, like, neither of you are focusing entirely on playing Magic. Like, it speaks volumes to the fact that, like, I'm frequently, like, reading chat and keeping up with other things regarding the stream, and I still am generally ahead on clock while playing here. Yeah, you can also double and even triple Q here. Agree. The fact that there's no individual action rope timer like we have on Arena is a big deal. Wow. Are they just getting are we gonna kill them with this Embercleave? I guess this is only a 5 and not a dino, right? I was thinking this was a dino. So if we attack with everything, this is only 12, 13. Yeah, we're just dead here, right? Yeah, we're just dead. Spirits is like the king of tempo in this format. It's very, very good. How many bits is $50? 50k bits. No, that's not true. Is that true? 1,000 bits is $10. Yes. No, it's 5,000. 5,000 bits. 1,000 bits is $10. 5,000 bits. And looks good. 1, 2, 3. It's just curvimentary. What could it be? I think I want to lead on Knight when I'm on the play here. Do we think we get historic banning / suspension changes on Monday too? I would actually bet we see news about historic on Thursday. We're supposed to get the state of the game is supposed to be historic focused on the 5th. Talking in relation about the new cards that are being released too. I'm so sad now and kind of pissed off about the whole Warren thing. I really wish I didn't. Next, facts suck, chat. Life's so much better when I could just bury my head in the sand. The fact that her campaign was just like point blank, we're trying for a brokered convention is just like, guys, the fact that her and her campaign are stupid enough to think that a brokered convention means that she'll get the nomination is just unreal. Like, just completely devoid of reality. A brokered convention means that no one gets 51% of the votes in the Democratic primary, and the candidates basically show up and they wheel and deal and negotiate with their delegates to, like, form a coalition and, like, give out favors inside the administration that gets the nomination based on it. Yeah, maybe. And I mean, if her plan isn't trying to get the nom for herself, but simply trying to block Bernie, then that means she's been a fraud and a charlatan the whole time. That means she hasn't actually believed in any of the progressive values that she's talked about, and she's just been spewing platitudes and lying to people. And the worst part is there are a bunch of people who, like, thought they were progressives that just don't understand. Or maybe that are progressives that just don't understand. It's not their fault. They believed her. They still believe her. It's just very sad. All right, so we're gonna attack with both of these, because if they block, we can pump beneath their Courser. Anybody who wants a progressive in the White House should be voting for Bernie Sanders at this point, in my opinion. I mean, you can believe in values and still deeply dislike someone and not want to support them. Sure, and that's illogical. That means you don't. No, I disagree with you. I think if you actually believe in the values you put forward and aren't a petty prick, you will put the values over your personal like or dislike for another person that represents those values. In my opinion, I disagree with you. I think if you actually believe in the values you claim, you put those values above all else. Putting your values aside when you don't like someone because they profess to do... It's basically the Republican thing to do, is putting aside your values because you don't like someone. Or it's just so like, it's shitty. I feel bad. This whole election cycle is like the first time I've really cared about the process, and it's made me realize why so many people don't care. Yeah, like, I don't know. If Joe Biden gets the nomination through a brokered convention and Liz ends up doing what it looks like she's gonna do, I'm probably just gonna check out and stop, because I can't. It's awful. It's just really miserable. I get it now. Fuck you, big kitty. Get out of here. Take your FUD and get the fuck out of my stream. What you're spreading is FUD. What you're spreading is lies. What you're spreading is nonsense. Stop. I'm not saying that he did it, but this is what it probably did. That's the definition of FUD. It's like saying, I'm not saying that it's aliens, but it was aliens. Like, it's just completely unacceptable. I don't actually believe this, but some people say, that's like pure Trumpian. Some people say, I don't actually believe it, but some people say this might be true. That's completely unacceptable. That's not welcome here. Get out. What am I doing? They're playing Sultai. I probably want Hazoret. I probably want Chandra. I think this is not an Embercleave matchup because they're going to be interacting with our stuff a lot. It's actually probably not a Fatal Push matchup. I don't have a ton of ways to trigger Revolt. Lightning Axe. I probably don't want extra Lightning Axe. They tend to play... This doesn't actually kill much, right? Probably actually don't want this. FUD stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's generally messaging that's devoid of fact and reality and panders to the emotions in people to scare them. Something that's very common. Yeah, I mean, I will not vote Democrat for Michael Bloomberg. Michael Bloomberg is not a Democrat, and I will not cast a ballot for Michael Bloomberg. If Michael Bloomberg gets the nomination, I will write in Bernie Sanders. If Biden gets the nom, I'll show up and vote for him. I'll vote for Biden, but there will not be a banner on my stream for Biden. I will not be talking about things if Biden gets the nomination, because I don't think it matters. I'm not going to support Biden because he's not going to generate the excitement or interest we need from people my age for the reason I'm saying now. Status quo Joe is not going to get things done. Your choices with Biden and Trump will be standing still or going backwards. And obviously standing still is better than going backwards. But yeah, I agree, Space Herring. Warren was actually one of my first campaign contributions this cycle. I donated to her long before I donated to Bernie. And I feel like I learned that my ability to estimate people based on what they say just doesn't apply. I mean, Biden's running on a platform. He's talked about dismantling and taking funding away from Social Security. Like he's gonna slash social safety nets too. The Warren campaign published a statement that basically says she's aiming for a brokered convention. I was hoping that wasn't the case. I was hoping that if she lost, she would drop and back the progressive, because that's what someone with actually progressive values would do. Someone who's petty and puts their pettiness and their ego above progressive values would remain in the race. Um, do I want to pump these? I don't think I do, right? Do they play sweepers? Am I supposed to be playing around a sweeper here? I feel like I'm probably supposed to play around a sweeper here. I don't know. The problem is that if I play around a sweeper, they're going to get to flip this and then like trophy something. And if they have one more removal spell, I'm down to one threat. Yeah, I don't think I'm in a position to play around a sweeper with the Jason play. I think I'm just supposed to hit them and then play the Stormfist. Thanks for the 13 months. C-Lab, thanks for the 21 months, Weasel. Delirium doesn't usually play Borrower, right? I don't think. Yeah, I agree, Frantic. I agree. Yeah, I agree, Silence. I think all of the Dems that stood up there and said the person with the most votes shouldn't get the nomination, but then also rally against the Electoral College, they're giant hypocrites. I don't know. Someone said they sometimes play a Languish. Ritualist Sook could be another possibility. Walking Ballista, sure. Okay. They plan on blocking here, then, I assume. Let's play a land. Am I worried about Fatal Push? I feel like I'm not. Let's start with this. Rider, Nissa. Huh? Well, November 3rd is the general election, I believe, Tedio. I don't know the exact date offhand, but I believe that's correct. I think I take Nissa here. Well, the Ballista's probably dying this turn. I would be surprised if Ballista survives this combat step. I assume they're going to block a Knight with Ballista. And then shoot my 3-1. So we'll see. Maybe they don't block here. Because there's no power. You have no power here. And then this probably drains them for 3. Because they probably don't want to discard their only spell. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna give it my best right now, but if they nominate Biden, like, did it really matter? What's Biden gonna do for people? Gonna roll back their social security benefits, among other things. Make sure a bunch of people still die in a for-profit healthcare system. I got bad news for you, Dorian. If Biden's the nom, they're still going to call him a communist. They're still going to call him a socialist. Words don't have meanings to the Republicans. Words don't have meanings to the Republican pundits and news medias. Facts don't matter with these people. So we should run the best candidate with the best possibility for change, because they're going to call him that regardless, whoever's up there. I don't see how a country prevents the coronavirus. We won't, Silence. Our healthcare system in a situation like the coronavirus is only as strong as our least cared for person. There is a very real possibility that the coronavirus gets bad in the United States, and then it really highlights the issues with our current system. They have 3 card types in their bin right now. They could add a 4th. That's still only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they have Murderous Rider available to them here. Am I just casting a 7-mana Gurmag Angler this turn? I might just be casting a 7-mana. Oh, I guess I could cast Kroxa. Maybe I just do that. I could crack this fetch and cast Kroxa. Or do they draw a 2-mana removal spell? Oh, okay. Hey, let's get you a sword to go with that shield, Hedgehog. Welcome back. I appreciate you keeping me around. Wait, what? They only have 1 swamp. That's just some good deck building right there. That's just some good deck building right there, chat. Yeah, maybe I was just supposed to double pump there. Yeah, I think I was just supposed to double pump here. I was expecting it to die. But yeah, that's really funny. That's really funny. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely should have double pumped. Why? Because they had a Murderous Rider in their hand, and they cracked a Fabled Passage, and then couldn't cast Swift End. How does Angler Kroxa felt together? So far, pretty awkward. So far, pretty awkward. They about to get Ishkana, and then they'll come up the board with that, and I can't kill them anymore. I'm gonna miss lethal and then die because of it. It's gonna be a justice stream for once in our lives. It'll be sad. I mean, enabling one of these effects isn't a big deal. Like, the issue is, like, here when you have both of them, that they're not necessarily stellar together. Ooh, that's really good. Hazoret could pull us over the hump here. Hazoret can pull us over the hump here. So they have to block all of these. And then Hazoret, for those not familiar, Dog Bomb here, has a 3 mana ability that lets us discard a card to deal 2 damage. So we're going to go ahead and pass you. It's also indestructible. Can only attack if we have 1 card or fewer in our hand. Oh, I guess I could have played a tapped land, activated Dog Bomb, and then attacked with her this turn. Yeah, I should have done that. I would have forced another chump block, right? Although if I do that, they can eat my knights. Maybe it's not as clean cut as all that. Yeah, okay, it's actually kind of close. So they're going to 4 from the Stormfist, and then they die to Hazoret on my turn, so they should just be dead here. Anybody who's been playing a lot of Pioneer does this Sultai deck have a good Spirits matchup? Like, the Sultai decks felt unimpressive to me. It doesn't. Like, why is this deck playable? Is it, like, really favored against Inverter or really favored against Breach? Like, the Sultai deck just seems incredibly underwhelming every time we play against it, and when we played with it, it wasn't particularly impressive either. Yeah, is it just, like, people like bad mid-range decks? So, like, this is them desperately trying to hold on to this format being a mid-range format? It's definitely a big brain energy style deck, yeah. It's good against... Is it? Like, it doesn't have that much disruption, right? Like, he's got like 4 Thoughtseize and a couple of spot removal spells, and removal's not useful against the Inverter deck. Trophy's good against their Jace combo draws, I suppose. Four C's, 3 Erasure. I think you're wrong about that. I don't think any of these decks play Erasure. Yeah, like, looking at the MTG Goldfish results, none of these decks have more than 4 Thoughtseize in terms of discard spells. Hey, Skylock, thanks for the 14 months. And G Miller, thanks for 27 months. Yeah, more historic today. Based on the... Oh, that's a good time to plug it, by the way. If you haven't filled out the sub-survey I sent out over the weekend, you should take a second to do that. Based on the feedback I've had on the sub-survey so far, I think I intend to start doing historic every day. Historic was ranked very highly on the sub-survey. So I think we're going to be moving to do that 5 days a week. And I can pull up the results of that, actually. We'll probably share those on stream at a couple of times today. So far, at a glance, yay, data. I'm not Wizards of the Coast, I share my data. We had 538 responses. Last sub-survey had 800 responses, so we're getting probably close to the upper end of this. We have 2,400 subscribers right now. That's a pretty okay response rate. This is the metric that we care about. 90% say they're here for Standard, 80% say they're here for Historic, less than 60% are here for Pioneer. Most popular people who mark their favorites most popular are Standard and Historic overwhelmingly right now. There is not a direct link to the sub-survey in chat, because that would give non-subs the link very easily. And I'd prefer not to have to filter out a bunch of non-sub responses. If you didn't check your spam folder, sometimes Twitch emails go to the spam folder. If it's not in your spam folder, you can pop in the subs Discord and find the link there. Hey, thanks for the 15 months. Tap Plans, welcome back. The biggest thing about the sub-survey that makes me happy about things we do, I've only had 7 people out of the 538 responses that said they didn't realize I had a website. So that's good. Feel like we plugged that an appropriate amount. I mean, I can automate filtering out troll responses. It just takes me an extra 5 minutes, which is annoying. How much more popular would older formats be if it was Arena as opposed to Moto? I think that's a question that's pointless to talk about. I think we don't have the power to change that, so it just doesn't matter. Making stuff up about something that ultimately doesn't matter sounds like a waste of time. Sure. Crusader into Regisaur sounds great. For comparison's sake, too, by the way, something that's a really interesting metric. In December, when Pioneer was, I consider, healthy, my 800 respondents said over 80% of them were here for Pioneer content. Whereas in this survey, less than 60% said they're here for Pioneer content. Which is it's a pretty steep drop off. Definitely. Glad to know that my current feelings about the health of the format are not exclusive to me. In December, it had been out for a couple of months. I don't know, Bovine. I mean, it's always a constantly moving target. And at the end of the day, too, there's also the volume of deck list submissions that allow me to gauge the health of a format. Just to be clear and transparent with my intentions moving forward. From now on, all Magic Online formats are going to be $50 submissions for subscribers. I just prefer playing Magic Arena, so I'm going to put a premium on Magic Online content. If we keep the deck queue for Magic Online formats full at $50 a submission, we will keep doing Magic Online 5 days a week to start each day. If we do not keep it full at that price, I plan to scale it back to 3 days a week, and I will fill in decks I want to play for those 3 days a week. So we will always be doing some Pioneer Modern Legacy, but we'll do less of it if there's less interest in submissions at the higher price. Yes, tier 3s will no longer be able to submit Magic Online decks without an extra kicker, which I know will cause some people to downgrade, and I'm okay with that. It just doesn't make sense for me to invest a lot of time into Magic Online when Arena is also popular. How do Madness cards work with the opponent's 1-drop? So Madness cards don't actually go to the graveyard when they're discarded. If you discard this card, discard it into exile, and then you cast it from exile. So the TLDR is it works fine with the opponent's 1-drop. I'm actually going to attack with my Stormfist Crusader here, because if they want to trade these two for the Crusader, I think I'm okay with that exchange. If they can get this big enough to attack through my 7/6, we're probably dead. Okay, so they're just gonna kill us in the air. Got it. Hey, Carmenova, thanks for the 28 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. So this is definitely an all Doomblades on deck matchup. There's one as many ways as possible to kill their stuff. Kroxa really hasn't seemed particularly good in this deck. It's just kind of slow. I feel like this card's better for like grindy decks, or like if you want it in a more aggressive shell, you need ways to flip things into your bin. And this build definitely doesn't have a bunch of ways to flip things into the bin, which is awkward. Me too, S-Bane. Thanks for the 14 months. Welcome back. I appreciate it. Does Chandra count as a Doomblade? I don't think she does in this matchup. In other matchups where she lines up better into their creatures, I would bring her in as a removal spell. But here, I expect their creatures that we really want to kill to grow quite large, especially before we can get to and deploy a 4-mana threat, or a 4-mana removal spell. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and keep this and bottom of Thoughtseize, I think. Yeah, 2-drop to follow up the Thoughtseize would be nice, but like, if we don't draw a 2-drop, we can probably plan to go tapped land Lightning Axe on 2 and discard whatever we draw. Well, I was intending to rearrange their hand and zoom a little bit there. I'm glad we misclicked on a... I'm glad we misclicked on a threat. Definitely wanted to take a threat there. The fact that we have Lightning Axe means the Apostle Purifying Light's like not too big of a deal. They draw a 1-mana creature. They did not. God bless. Yeah, okay. So we'll play the tap lanes here, and then we'll plan to just like Lightning Axe their Apostle, discard a land, go Swamp Regisaur next turn. Hey, Macabre, thanks for taking part in the democratic process. Thanks for supporting real fundamental change in the United States. Perfect. Even drew a Madness card here to bin to the Reggie next turn. That's phenomenal. God bless America. Feels bad, man. Feels bad, man. Just like any other threat there. So this is effectively unblockable against us. Are we dead? It feels like we're dead, huh? Feels like we're dead. Well, you see, if you put voting on a non-holiday weekday, it makes it harder for people who make less money and live paycheck to paycheck and can't afford to take time off of work to vote. And if you make it harder for people like that to vote, you make it more difficult for there to be change that could negatively impact people who make lots of money off of people living in poverty. Another thing that frequently happens in the United States is that polling stations that are in areas that tend to have low incomes on average also tend to have longer wait times. Because if you have long wait times in areas where people can less afford to have spare time, they're then even further disincentivized from voting because they can't take a long time to go actually vote. Yes, Texas has closed an incredible amount of polling stations since 2012 and will likely continue to do so, further driving up wait times and discouraging people from voting that they don't want to vote. Yeah, there's a mandatory period, and like they have to stay open if you're in line before they're set to close. But again, there's a number of people who can't afford to wait in line. And what you have to understand is, while your employer can't fire you for needing time off to go vote in the United States, they don't have to pay you for it either. And a lot of people can't afford to take unpaid time off. Morning, Justin. Feeling pretty dead again. Maybe the Stormfist Crusader can drag us kicking and screaming across the finish line. Am I double blocking when they attack here? Oh, feels magic, man. Feels magic, man. I think I'm just playing a dino out here. We have plenty of good options to discard. Look at that. Glass half full. When's the final election for president? The general election in the United States happens in November. Sure it does. I don't believe that's allowed, Bennett, but I also don't know the full details. I'm not going to profess to be a lawyer and understand the nuance. Well, I think this is again gonna just be kind of one of those decks where, and this is a good to highlight too. Like a lot of the frustration around Pioneer, I think, has been surrounded around the combo decks that have become popular, and in part the combo decks are to blame for Pioneer becoming a little bit medium. But I think it's also important to recognize that like decks like what I'm playing right now likely aren't competitive even in a format where there aren't a bunch of combo decks that got added. Like, we haven't played against a bunch of combo matchups today, and we're still just getting dumpstered. Like, our deck that we are playing is just a low power level deck in a format that's becoming optimized that's higher power level. Like, the fact that we got thoroughly handled by spirits, and like, we're just coming up, our deck does not feel quite strong enough in this devotion matchup. Definitely good to highlight that it's not just the fact that combo decks happen in this format, that decks like this got pushed out and aren't really competitive. We need to understand we're in a different election right now, CK Lau. So like right now is that we're not campaigning for the general. What's going on right now is the primary, and primary voting is happening today. Some of it's already happened. It'll continue happening for like the next month or so. Month or two. I think some of the primaries don't go until like the end of May. Yeah, I agree with that too. Ryan. We thought, well, I mean, to be fair, I feel like we were never promised it wasn't going to be modern again, but a lot of us made that assumption. And then when it ended up being very similar to modern, it was kind of like surprise Pikachu face. I don't think that's strictly true, Dorian. Like, for example, I think the current standard format that we have is a lot of fun, and I think that the current standard format that we have is, like, pretty well optimized. It's like modern with bad mana. I agree. I agree. Asylum Visitor's been a little bit medium today. I feel like Asylum Visitor would probably just be better as the Black Madness card that deals 3 to my opponent. Is there a TLDR of the Electro Press? There's not, actually. It's just a giant cluster with a lot of really intricate subsystems designed to make it more complicated. I made a deck that actually kills people and it took me back to Diamond last night. It's amazing what it does when you actually win games of Magic, huh? The early bans were promising, but everything changed when the Theros Nation attacked. Thanks for the 7 months, Pods. Welcome back. Yeah, Historic. To be fair to Historic, if Historic gets events and becomes more popular, it will eventually become optimized a bit more than it is now as well. I guess we're just jamming. No, yeah, I would say I could attack with this and like threaten to pump, but I think they just block with their 2/2, and then I have to pump and spend my whole turn pumping, which doesn't seem good. The problem with letting them untap with everything here is Nykthos makes 6 mana at the moment, which is just like an incredible amount of mana. I want to play Thalia and Type Taker in the same deck. Me too. That sounds great. So, this turn, depending on if they have... I'll just say, well, you know... Turn 3, my opponent is playing 12 mana worth of Magic the Gathering cards. Does everybody remember a simpler time when what the current opponent is doing was the biggest, scariest thing in this format? It feels like a different lifetime, right? Like it feels like a lifetime ago that like what their deck is doing was the big bad in the format. Feels pre-Theros, man. Yeah, that's because the green devotion deck has a lot of axes on which you can interact with it at various points. Just like killing their board is useful. Hey, Navier. Thanks for taking part in the democratic process. Winter is here, chat, and it's cold. It's oh so very cold. I think I'm supposed to play Stormfist here on 2, so I can have my best chance to hit a 3rd land to play 1-drop, 2-drop next turn. Sure, Jundovin's great. Oh, it's like an aggressive build of Jundovin. I like it. Seems sweet. Yeah, to Theros' credit, Theros was incredibly good for Standard. This current Standard format is super, super reasonable. Well, shoot. I guess I'm taking Scavengling Ooze. I guess. Is it crazy to just play another Stormfist Crusader here? I feel like it's not, right? Like, their hand's stacked regardless of what I do. Maybe this is crazy. We just start dealing 2 to each player per turn, just like flood each player with an option of spells. Hopefully we can find like a Regisaur. next turn. Get that into play would be ideal. He took my Kroxa, really? You think the game's gonna last that long? Interesting. I would be kind of surprised if the game lasts that long. Perfect. That would probably just be too much to track right now. It also would be unfair to people outside the US. I assume we're going to lose the sword to the other Thought-Knot, but like Reggie plus these two Stormfist bearing down should probably mean we're in a good spot to take the game. Lovestruck Beast is a pretty good pickup. That's kind of to be expected. All right, am I... Yeah, we're just bidding Fiery Temper at this point, right? I think I'm just sending these to the dome here. You want me to temper plus stop a Thought-Knot? Nah. Ain't about that life. I think I'm just passing. Like, Stormfist Crusaders deal 2 next turn, Fiery Temper deals 3, Stomp deals 2. Like, if we just turtle up here a little bit, I feel like we're in a fine spot. King of all trees, thanks for 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. They have Uro, but like they're pretty far away from escaping this, even if they start attacking. They could draw another Uro. I definitely can Pentreon. You know what? I'm gonna put Pod Mom in Historic. I wanna try that in that format. The interest in Historic content was high based on sub-survey responses so far. Look at that. Just like we drew it up, chat. Double bolt you. Double the old kill you from 8 without combat. Stubborn denial. Well, that's just rude. Yeah, combo Pod Mom and Historic, similar to what we played in Standard. So we'll go stomp them down to 1 here, and then play another blocker. Are they dead? They have to block both of these with 2. Yeah, they're just dead, right? Because they'd go block, and then these are both menace. Right? And they only have 5. Sweet. Stormfist Crusader, chat. She's very scary. Look at her. Look at her lightning mace. I think this is a Hazoret matchup. Seems like a pretty good stat line. Asylum Visitor has been bad. I think I'm going to cut a couple of Thoughtseize. I can't really afford to draw multiple of those in a game, I don't think. I think I'm going to trim 2 Kroxa, because while escaping it back would be okay, I think it's going to fight with my graveyard with Gurmag Angler a little bit, and Gurmag's a little bit better here. Yeah, let's do this. Maybe I'm going to board in a Chandra and cut this last Kroxa. Yeah, Kroxa's been underwhelming. I feel like if I were to play this again, and I'm not sure, it's kind of a big if, I would just want more reach in the deck. Huh? I'm gonna bottom the sword here. I think. Confluence, Passage, Dragonskull Summit are like pretty awkward opening lands here. That's just some good deck building right there. I would like the record to reflect that I did adjust the mana base in this myself, and golly, do I deserve what we're currently experiencing. My buddy is in the process of being laid off by Bloomberg, but is still voting for him. Listen, if voters didn't vote against their best interest, Republicans would never get elected. And they control a majority of the Senate. So, you know, that's just how life works. Grab a Swamp here. Play Summit. Play Stormfist. The silly Mana Confluence. I included you in my mana base to try and make my lands more consistent. This is how you repay me? Okay, at least I have an untapped land without playing Mana Confluence this turn. Got that going for us. We have the biggest, dumbest dino on the board. King of Oglandia with the big tip. Thanks for the support, Justin. Ooh. I don't have my dashboard open. Let's fix that. Are we dead? Feels dead. Ooh. All right, we're going to kick off with some Jund Oven. Sounds good for the standard portion. I think I'm happy with how we sideboarded here. I do not have a list offhand. Clamstra is going to build something, though. There aren't that many upgrades from standard. I think I'm supposed to mulligan this. Like, it's land heavy, and it doesn't have the right colors to cast this still. So, like, the hand, like, needs to draw lands, and it needs to draw spells. This sounds great. I think I'm bottoming Key to the City. I guess I could go 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's bottom Dog Bomb. Fauna Shaman. I could see that. It's a little bit on the slow side, but it does add consistency. Key plus Dino can let us close really quickly through a gummed up board, which is nice. Probably depend a little bit if they have Brazen Bar or not. Playing it over Neoform. I feel like that's a mistake. Neoform is like a go fast card. Fauna Shaman's a pretty slow and steady card. I guess I'm not sure where I feel Historic is at, whether or not it's a go fast format. Just casual. Casual 5 mana, 6 mana going into their 4th turn. Their 3rd turn, sorry. So this is turn 3 and they have 6 mana. Yeah, if we draw an untapped land next turn, we bin this Chandra and then get to slam Hazoret and smash them. Should be pretty good. Sick. Rawr. It'll be interesting to see if Bernie still wins 60+% after the drops and endorsements from yesterday. On my way to vote in California, but here's a tip for being advocate for decent compassion politics. Thanks for the biddies, Sonorka. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So I get to hit them with unblockable Hazoret here, and then the Knight's going to threaten to be a pretty big blocker on defense, so that the Reality Smasher has to stop attacking. Oh, they mill themselves with Ipnu to turn on Uro. That's sweet. I didn't think about that angle of it. So they get to escape Uro now, which gains them 3 life a turn. So they're going to 10 here. This used to be an Hypno Rivulet WinCon stream, ain't that the truth? Huh? Okay, so now we need to stop and think. If I attack with Dog Mom this turn, I die on the backswing next turn, right? I think I'm supposed to pay 2 to draw a card here. Dang it. So I'd have... I think we're just supposed to pass now, right? I was hoping to draw a land for my Knight. So I can discard a card to key to the city at any point to allow Hazoret to block here. Oh, we're dead to Oasis, right? Oh. Really? They were supposed to spread that out, right? So, unfortunately, they're up to... Good golly, I guess if they blow this up, they lose their elves. Do I just do this now? Do I have a route to winning if I do this? I don't think I do, right? I think we're just dead. So like they're at 13, right? So like Dog Mom with Cleave is only 12. I'm gonna say no on this. Yeah, they just held up Blast Zone, which is smart. Yeah, again, I can't kill them since they held up Blast Zone, right? Hey, thanks, Bacon. I would like to keep tweaking that. I appreciate the support. Alright, so this deck felt pretty bad. Thoughts on what I would do if I was someone who wanted to work on this. I don't think Kroxa is good enough in this deck. I think Kroxa is probably just a worse payoff than Gurmag Angler, and I'd rather just have a 5/5 to put into play more often. The best draws with this deck felt like the ones where I was just burning my opponent out. So I don't think Asylum Visitor is actually good in this deck. I think I would cut this card, and I think I would just play... I would just play 4 copies of the Black Madness card that deals 3 damage to the opponent and you gain 3 life. It can't hit creatures, but I think just like having ways to dome the opponent would be good. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised if this deck Alms of the Veins, that's the card. I wouldn't be surprised if this deck in general just like isn't quite high enough power level for this format. I think even with those changes, you're probably still a bit weaker than a lot of what else is going on. And I'm not really sure that this is something that I would recommend trying again moving forward. All right, at any rate, we've got a bunch of decks that we're going to be playing on Magic Arena today. We'll be kicking off with some Historic featuring green-red aggro. I'm going to do a quick ad roll, like everything's set up and flipped over. I'll be back in just a little bit with some green-red aggro. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.